Hello, everybody. Happy Friday night. Welcome to my Zen Den. So glad that you could join me. My name is Mandy VanHavermaet, and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! From Grey Eagle, Minnesota. And I am so happy that you could be here tonight. I'm going to be making more Christmas cards tonight because it is the season to be jolly, right? I don't know about you, but I'm having troubles getting into this whole Christmassy stamping thing because it's like orange outside. And so I've been listening to Christmas music. Not gonna lie, I've got my Alexa up here who just flashed at me, and been listening to Christmas music to get me into the mood to be stamping some Christmas cards for you. I'm going to be using the other half of the suite that we talked about last week. So I'm going to be using the Christmas banners stamp set. And I've got a surprise for you. One of them is not a Christmas card because as I got cooking on it, I was like, it looks like something else. So I'll explain that as we go stamping. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we are going to get busy with some stamping. Hold on one second. Oh, it is like, I don't know, in Minnesota, it's MEA break. So my kids have been home for the past couple days. My boys, and oh my word, the energy those boys have. Whew. They're about to send mom over the edge. Okay, I've been trying to stamp. For reals. Okay, so here is the Christmas banner stamp set. This stamp set is photopolymer, where the Candy Cane Wishes was red rubber. This stamp set is photopolymer. So here's the bundle right here on page 11. Some really beautiful samples in the catalog. Sorry, wrong way. Of this suite and some of its capabilities. They mix really well with those candy canes, but we are going to use it as a standalone tonight, just this stamp set. So photopolymer stamp set, some great dies. They do the banners here that come with it. They kind of interchange with a lot of different words, and I'm actually going to show you that tonight. So let's get stamping. Our first card is, I'm pulling in some elements from the Christmas suite. So this is the card that we're going to make. I love the look of black in with the traditional Christmas colors. And so I brought in that washi tape from the Halloween suite that we did earlier a few weeks ago. So let's get making this card. Pull in these are the, what we're going to need. So I've got a piece of basic black, and that is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. Let's get that out of the way. I've got 2 pieces of basic white because obviously you need 1 for on the inside, and then 1 that we're going to be stamping on. I've got a scrap of basic white, and I've got a scrap piece of vellum. And then I'm going to be using masking paper. And this is something that's in the big catalog, in the annual catalog. Let's see if I can find what page it is on. It's really a handy thing. It's a newer item that we have, and I think it kind of tends to get buried in here. Not adhesive sheets. Here we go, masking paper. So it's on page 149. It comes in 12 5 by 7 sheets, and I've been playing around with it. It's really a lot of fun. It says that it's reusable. I've not found it to be really easy to reuse, but it is a lot of fun. It's a fun tool, and I'm going to show you a way that we can use this tonight. So, and then my ink colors that I have are Cherry Cobbler, Soft Suede, Garden Green, Old Olive, and Shaded Spruce. So lots of colors, but I think that you're going to like how it turns out. So let's fold our card base here and burnish it. And let's do some stamping. I'm going to set this aside for right now. I'm going to take one of my basic white card panels, and I am going to take a piece of grid paper. And I like to use the grid paper. I'm going to use the rulers on the edges here, sort of, just so I make sure I get it centered. So I'm using the grids. I'm lining it up here. I've got it lined up at 3. and 7. And so I've got my adhesive back sheet that I've cut a strip of. Let's get that out of your way so you can see what's going on here. I make you directions and then I cover them up. Can you believe that? Okay, so the backing comes right off. So I am going to, let's see, 1 inch, 1 inch. I'm going to center this and I'm lining it up so it's straight on my grid. Okay, just like that. Okay, so now I've got my piece and I've gently put that down there. Okay, I don't press it really hard because it is adhesive and it's going to stick if you too hard, and we don't want that to happen. Because this is photopolymer, you're going to want to use something like a Stampin' Pierce mat so that you get a nice, crisp, good image. And so now we're going to bring in some of the greenery stamps. So I've got this one here. We'll probably assign, and I've just randomly assigned greens to these. This is a berry. This is a 2-step stamp. So we've got like the twig that I'm going to use the soft suede, and the berries I'm going to use cherry cobbler. And then I've just, each green piece of greenery I've assigned to a green. That's my way of doing it. That's just how I'm doing it. So let's open up our greens here. And really and truly, this card would not be too tough to make a lot of if you were to wanted to make quite a few Christmas cards. So I'm going to take my shaded spruce and this little thing here, this little sprig. And what I'm doing is just kind of copying on each side. Does that have to be perfect? The copy and the... No, because really and truly the greenery, like when you look at a wreath, is not super perfect, right? So, but we do want it to be somewhat symmetrical. So now I'm taking my, this is a nice pine bough, it looks like. And I'm just putting nice garden green. I'm actually going to do the twig one next, and the reason to begin is it's a thicker one, it's more substantial, and I want to make sure I get them fit on there. And then I'll do my other sprig and any other that I want to fill in. So this, like I said, was a 2-step stamp, and I think it's so pretty. And this is actually what gave me the inspiration for the next card that I'm going to do. And I think you're going to agree with me when I tell you that this looks a little bit to me like bittersweet. So, I mean, it looks like berries, right? Isn't that cute? So pretty. So you just line up the red berries with the tips of the twigs, and it just lines up so beautifully. And I'm trying not to put my head under the camera. There we go. Okay, so I looked at that and I went, that looks a little bit like what bittersweet would maybe look like. So that's the inspiration for my next card, and that's all I'm going to give you. So let's put in some of this. Oh, that's pretty. I love all the different greens. They mix so nice. And like I said, it doesn't have to be exactly symmetrical, but somewhat symmetrical. Where more? What more do I want? One right there. Let's see. How about some more of this one? Maybe right there. And maybe another one down there, even though it's close to that one. That's okay. Need a little bit of green in there. All right. So I think I'm going to call that good. I'm only doing 3 of the red just because I don't want it to overpower. I want it to be mostly greenery. Okay, so let's close these up just for now because I don't want to ruin my project, right? And I totally would. Okay, so now we're going to take this off. And if you take it off gently, you can possibly reuse it again on your next card. It's like a test. And I have found that it peels off better if you like roll it back like that. So I will just stick that to my desk over there. Isn't that pretty? I love it. So cool. Okay, so now I'm going to take my black washi tape, and this came from a Halloween suite that's also in the mini right now. I'm not sure if it's available right now or if it is out right at the moment, but if you have leftovers from your Christmas crafting, or your Halloween crafting, the black looks really nice with this. The olive might look pretty neat too, actually. Might be able to mix in with your Christmas crafting. So sometimes it's fun to think outside of the box, right? I just like I said, I like the look of black with my Christmas. I think it's so elegant. So isn't that pretty? Oh, I love it. So now we are going to take and mount that onto our card. So just like that. And if you noticed, I rolled the black washi tape just right over the edge. So it's a seam, you know, you can't see the edge of that. So let's attach that onto our card base. So beautiful. All right. So that's where our starting off point is. And that's not too tough, right? Okay. While I've got this out, let's take and grab my piece of scrap white, and I'm going to grab the banner, the long banner that's got 2 words on it. And this is another 2-step stamp. So I am going to open up my cherry cobbler and ink my stamp up. Just gently tap, tap, tap it on there. And the cherry cobbler is going to stain the stamps. Just keep that in mind. Let's do it this way, so I have enough room. I always say that a pink stamp is a well-loved stamp. So push that down on there. Beautiful. And again, you want to use that Stampin' Pierce mat so that you get a nice crisp image. And I'm actually going to use Shaded Spruce now. And the words in this stamp set fit nicely and are interchangeable. So I am, you've got wishes, seasons, greetings, Christmas, merry, and happy. Those are all separate. So I'm going to be using seasons greetings tonight, but you could also do Christmas wishes. You could do Merry Christmas. You could mix and match things up there quite a bit. So we're going to do Christmas, or seasons greetings, I'm sorry. And I've got Shaded Spruce. So the greetings, my G wasn't inked up. And these I've found you really don't need to bend them. If you wanted to bend them a little bit more, you totally could to make them kind of sit in the banner and wave a little bit more. But I find that the banner is pretty much set up to use a straight word. So seasons greetings. Pretty, huh? I like it. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of cutting. So I'm done with the inks for right now. Unless I want to stamp something on the inside, which I will. So we are going to pull out the dies, the die. So I'm going to pull out that die, and then I'm also going to cut just a little bit of greenery out of vellum for behind. I like this one, and I think I'm going to use this one. This also will cut standalone, and this will cut kind of a standalone, these two here. But I'm not going to. These dies here will actually cut out the stamped images of the greenery. So that's what those are for. But we are going to, let me grab my Okay, so let me put it in the right order so you can see what's going on. I've got plate number, I don't do them in right side, like the right way every time. Okay, so I've got plate number 1, plate number 2, plate number 3, and you've got 2 of plate number 3, right? So we are going to put our, let's get rid of this so I've got more room for my vellum. We're going to put Season's Greetings on there. And we don't have a magnetic plate right now, right? So we are going to do the good old, I've been using my, if your dies do warp a little bit, you can always bend them back. It's okay. Just don't be like folding them in half, but to gently bend them so that they lay flat. You are just fine to do that. I find that I do that on most of my dies. A way to prevent that is to not run it through a really thick sandwich. If you run it through a precision plate, which is what we used to have a lot of, or what we used to use a lot of, they tend to bend more so. So I'm just going to make sure that I got this right. Yep. Okay, so I'm just going to use a Post-it note. And then I've got my little piece of vellum here. We're going to do 2. I'm going to end up doing 4 pieces of vellum, but we're going to do 2 at a time because I can only do 2 at a time. So I am going to then put my second number 3 plate on and run it through. And then I'm going to run again a second time through with these 2. So I'll be right back. All right, so here is those 2. They pop out so nice. And then our, ooh, I got a sticky note today. I started ripping the paper. Okay, so there's the Season's Greetings. It moved on me. No, see, it happens, guys. It totally happens. Let's do another one. Let's do another one because it did not cut out perfect. It moved off. It got a little wonky on me, and I don't like it. So let's do a second one. Let me grab a scrap of paper. Is this long enough? Nope. Let's just use a card panel. See, that's for all you that say, oh, you make it look so easy. I make boo-boos too. It happens. It happens to the best of us. So we're going to pull out our cherry cobbler again. Not that I'm the best of us, but anyhow, it happens to everybody. There is our banner. Beautiful. And I had it upside down. And now I smudged it. That'll be okay because that'll cut off. I'm going to pull my shaded spruce back in. My Seasons is going to go right there. My Greetings is going to go right there. All right. Take 2. Let's try it again. We've got that. Let's try it again. Did I have that on upside down the last time? Maybe that was my problem. Who knows? Okay, it looks good there. It looks good, right? Don't anybody breathe. Let's pull in my sticky note. I miss my magnet. I really do. I liked the magnetic plate, but the thing I love about Stampin' Up! Is if it is not top quality, they will not sell it. So I appreciate them removing it, and I'm looking forward to the day that they make a new one. So, okay. And what I'm doing here is I personally don't like to have 2 things on pieces of paper on top of each other. You probably could because it's the edges, but I am going to, there we go. Okay, so there's our sandwich again. I've got plates 1, 2, 3, and the second number 3 plate going on top. And we are going to run that through one more time. Okay, fingers crossed, everybody. Our pieces of vellum came out wonderfully. Beautiful. Okay, and let's see if this worked. Oh, that's so much better. There we go. Okay, so now let's put this back where it belongs before I lose it, because apparently I'm having one of them nights. Okay, put this aside. Let's build our card up now. So this, like, for real, isn't that pretty? So pretty. Let's put these away too. Okay, so I am going to use some dimensionals, and we're going to pop that guy up there. All right, so I've got 5 on there because I don't want it to sag. Oh, so pretty. Okay, so I'm going to tuck these guys in, and the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to use just a little bit of adhesive. I'm just going to use Tombow liquid glue, and I'm just going to pop those in kind of behind, so you can still see behind, but you can't, but it adds just a little bit of fancy, right? So I'm going to put those there and right here. And then I'm going to pull in some of the gold holly leaves. That is also in the Christmas, the mini catalog, the July to December mini catalog. So tuck that in and just kind of tap it down there. The gold holly leaves are just pretty. I like them a lot. They add just the perfect amount of, well, this has already got sparkle on it from the gold or the black glimmer washi tape, but this is going to add just a little bit more, and I think it's so pretty. And if you wanted to add, make it so that the vellum stayed down, like all of it stayed down, because this is going to pop up a little bit, you could use adhesive back sheets and put that on the vellum before you ran it through your cut and emboss machine, and that would make these stickers, and they would, you can't see that adhesive through the vellum. It's actually a pretty cool trick. So there's the vellum on there. So now I'm going to take the gold holly leaves, and the gold holly leaves, there's 30 in a package, or in a plastic disc here. There's 2 different sizes. There's a bigger leaf and a smaller leaf. So I'm going to use 2 big leaves and a little leaf. And here again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, or you could use a glue dot on the back. Let's use a glue dot. Here, I knew I had one started. Here we go. Let's use a glue dot. So there is. I'm just tucking it behind. So there's one, and I'm sticking it right on top of those pieces of vellum. So if you did make a little bit of get a little extra glue on there, this will hide it. And here is, I'm just putting the little one right with, just like that. And then this one is going to go down on the bottom. Right with those, whoops, vellum pieces. So there we have it. So there is our greeting card number 1. I need to finish the inside. The thing about the candy cane set and the Christmas banner set, they don't have a lot of inside sentiments for Christmas cards. Some that I've pulled out that I think work really nicely. There's one that's called Very Best Occasions. This one doesn't necessarily have all Christmas. It has a couple of really nice Christmas sentiments with a little more sparkle and a little less stress. Let's make this Christmas the very best. And may your days be happy, your heart be light, and your Christmas be merry, your New Year's be bright. I think that those two sentiments are great. But you've also got a thinking of you with comfort and love. You've got happy birthday, sending you smiles for every moment of your special day. This is just a good all-around stamp set. I can't say enough about this stamp set. Very Best Occasions. And then there's Hope and Peace. This is a little bit more Christian, religious. Has really nice sentiments. May knowing Christ bring you peace for today, hope for tomorrow, and joy for every season. Tidings of comfort and joy. Wishing you the hope and peace of Christ this season. Peace on earth, goodwill to all. And this one I like because God's blessings to you. That sentiment alone would be a great reason to have this if you make a lot of confirmation or baptism or first communion or any of those kind of cards. That's a great, even Easter, that's a great sentiment. So this is a really nice stamp set to have. And then Brightest Glow. This stamp set is the one that comes with a lot of the, I'll show you. It will work on this probably next week. It's got some really nice intricate dies that come with it, but has some great sentiments. May the peace of this season light your world, and may your new year be the brightest. Hoping your Christmas shines bright with the love of family and friends. Wishing you a season of hope and light. Just nice sentiments. So I'm going to use, we're going to do what we started. Oh, got a card in there. And use the sentiment that is stuck in here with a little more sparkle and a little less stress. Let's make this this Christmas the very best. That's what I'm going to stamp on the inside. So let's grab a block and do here, way up there. I'm going to stamp that. I think I'm going to stick with the cherry cobbler. Nope, I'm not. I'm going to go with the shaded spruce, and I'm going to tell you why. Just because of the holly leaves. And that's just me. That's the way my brain is working tonight. So, what an awesome sentiment. I love it. Wow, that's crooked. Apparently, it's the night of 2 takes. That's so much better. Okay. Shoosh. The struggle is so real, man. Let's put some adhesive on here. And I just want you to know, if you ever get a card from me, which you more than likely, I send out a lot of cards, don't take them apart because there's a lot of mistakes on the back sides. That's just the way I roll. Let's pull in our red Stampin' Right marker and just put a little, let's color those berries. Because don't they look so much better when they're colored? Since I'm coloring, let's bring in the shaded spruce. I've got the light shaded spruce here. No, I don't. Did you see that? My blend just fell apart. I'll look at that later. How about the dark Stampin' blend? And this is the shaded spruce again, so. I could have done this in black. It would have been very sharp. But the shaded spruce looks nice too. Okay, there we go. That is the inside of my card. So that's card number 1. All right, and like I said, card number 2 is not a Christmas card. I seen these berries and I seen bittersweet. So I'm going to keep my soft suede, and I am going to keep those two. I'm going to wash this one off because I'm not going to be using cherry cobbler. So let's clean that off. Okay. And I am going to be using, let's see here. switching gears. Okay, here is the next card. So this is the card we're going to be making. And I literally saw bittersweet when I saw those, so I'm making a bittersweet card. We are going to be using a piece of Cajun Craze for the card base, so 8.5 by 5.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. Just my standard card base. This is the card base I tend to gravitate towards the most. So I've got a scrap of crushed curry. I've got the Designer Series paper from Rustic Harvest. I've got one piece that is 2 by 5.5 and one piece that is 4 by 5.5. And then I've got a strip of Cajun Craze that is 2 1/8 by 5.5. And I have got a piece of basic white that is 3.5 by 3.5, and a piece of Cajun Craze that is 3 5/8 by 3 5/8. So basically 1 inch bigger, just so that I can mat that right on there. And then I've got a piece of basic white that'll go on the inside. So let's build our wreath. And so to build a wreath, you need a circle, okay? So what I did is I pulled in the Cottage Wreaths stamp set, and I'm just going to lightly do a circle out of this. There are other circles in the catalog that you could use. I think there's the watercolor circles, where all you need is just a pattern so you can keep your wreath going in a circle, right? So I'm going to pull in my soft suede. I'm going to set my other stuff back. And I'm also going to pull in Cajun Craze and pumpkin pie. So soft suede. And what I'm going to do is stamp off. And then, so I'm lightly stamping a circle. On the other side. Yes, this is the night I'm having. Woo! Wowzer. Okay, there. I have lightly stamped a circle. So what I did is I went around and I stamped. I went opposite of the way this is growing on my last one, because this is the way that the curve of the branch went. Does it make it right? I don't know. But bittersweet is like a wild kind of looking. It grows in the wild, right? It's not tame. It's a viney. It's wild. So I don't think that there's necessarily a right or wrong way to do this. I just think that it's fun, and I saw something different. So we're going to put our berries on here. And so I'm starting with the Cajun Craze ones. And if you notice, I only stamped so often. I left room. I'm going to go back in and stamp another set to do with the pumpkin pie. I just wanted to, especially tonight with all my oopses, I didn't want to stamp too many or miss or make them uneven. So there's my Cajun Craze. Let's wash my stamp off. And now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to put another set of twigs. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because bittersweet is not perfect, right? One more right there. Okay, so now let's do our pumpkin pie. And if you don't get them exactly right, it's okay. Because it's crafting and it's fun and it's meant to be a little off. It's okay. It's okay. All right. Isn't that fun? I'm like, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Okay, so now that I've got that done, I'm going to keep my Cajun Craze out, and I am going to stamp my banners. And I need to clean off some blocks because I've used, I think, every block I own tonight. So let's clean this one off quick. And like I said, a pink stamp is a well-loved stamp. It is stained. It is not coming out. We used to sell a stamp cleaner where it would kind of take some of those stains out if you got ahead of it. But even, there's not much that I've found. If you're going to stamp in pinks and reds and purples and early espresso, you're going to have stained stamps. And like I said, a stained stamp is a loved stamp. It's a well-used stamp. So, put that away, and I'm going to use this stamp right there. Okay? I'm not going to use a greeting from in here. I'm going to use a greeting from a different stamp set. I'm also going to pull out the framelit. So I'm actually going to stamp. I'm going to use, let's see, what did I use on this one? I'm going to stamp my banner in soft suede, just like that. And now I'm going to take a sentiment. I'm actually going to use a sentiment from the Cottage Rose suite just to show you that you can use different sentiments. So I've got grateful. Okay. Let's clean this up because I need a block. Stick that right there. Okay, and I'm going to use Cajun Craze and stamp that in grateful, just like that. So there you go. Your banner could be used with other stamp sets for other words, basically words that are straight. If I wanted to, I could have maybe curved this just a little bit, but I would have had to, that's just a little bit more. You could have done that. I don't feel like you need to on this small of a word. So let's seal this all up so we don't get ink on our stuff. All right, and let's pull this back in. 1, 2, 3. Let's get rid of that. And let's line it up with the edge. Bring in my sticky note again. And put that on top, and I'll be right back. I'm going to run that through my cut and emboss. And there we go. Perfect. All right, let's make our card up, huh? Okay. Whew, I have got a lot of blocks and ink on my desk. Wowza. Okay. Let's put our card together. So I'm going to put my inside in because that's the piece that fell out at me first. Do you ever have days like that? I don't think I should be cooking anything anymore. I think I'm done. Don't use the oven. Okay, that's not the one I want. I want this nice piece of Mossy Meadow. I loved the Rustic Harvest paper. It was phenomenal. It is phenomenal. It is like quintessential fall colors for real. Love it. So I'm just lining this up. This is a piece of 5.5, so it is the same length as my card base. So I'm just lining it up. Same thing with these pieces. They are all 5.5. So just like that. And then this will go down the center. And I just eyeball center. I really don't get too persnickety about having identical, like perfect. You could use grid paper and line that up perfectly if you so desired. That's what the grid paper is there for, right? So then this is going to have an 1/8 inch border, or not an 1/8, a 16th inch border all the way around. And will sit directly on like that. Isn't that so cool? Oh, I was so excited when I realized I could make bittersweet. Not that I have some kind of, I don't know, I just thought it was cool. I like the top, this part and this part better of my, like the evenness. So I'm going to kind of hide this part that got not quite as, it kind of got scooted over that way a little bit. But we're going to hide that with the banner. It'll kind of even it out so you can't really tell, right? Love it. Okay, let's put on, grab some dimensionals. Right here they are. Just like that. Perfect. Let's grab, I'm going to put some rustic metallic adhesive back dots. That's what I'm going to put on there. I like these because they are exactly what they say they are. They're kind of rustic. They're not so eye-popping and bright. Work wonderful with our fall themed cards. So I'm not a big fan of that being on there. Let's get him off. I think we're going to go with 5 today, just because I'm not liking 3. There we go. Perfect. All right. So there is card number 2. And there's the, if you want to take a screenshot of that. And then I'll bring in my other card. So there's my cards for tonight. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you got some tips on how to use this set. Here's just a couple of more that I used. This is using that designer series paper from the Brightest Glow suite. Some really fun designer series paper. And here I just heat embossed that with gold and used the melody, the musical note background. So sweet, such a rich looking, beautiful card. And here's another one. I used that black again. This was how I started thinking. I used the black, and I used from the cottage something or other. It's in the Cottage Wreath Suite. This the gingham designer series paper. So classic colors again with some gold, and like this. Like I said, this was a springboard for this card. So hope you got some good ideas. I will flip the camera around and say goodnight. Holy schmolies. There we go. Wow. I'm not making like anything technical tonight. I don't think I should. It's been kind of rough. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so very much for watching. If you're watching the replay on YouTube, thank you so very much for tuning in. And if you could give me a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. Otherwise, I will see you back here next week. Bye-bye.